Oh, hey, welcome to my desk. Today, I'm going to be drawing my last four watched on letterboxd. Okay, so the last movie that I watched like 2 nights ago, I think, was The Secret Agent, which was a Brazilian film that came out last year, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, and I really liked it. Honestly, I didn't know really what to expect because I didn't know like the plot or anything. I knew that it was nominated for a few Academy Awards, so I think that's how I heard about it. And some friends of mine who've seen it, that they really liked it. So I just kind of went in blind. And it's not exactly, it's kind of a little bit of a genre defying film. There's a lot of scenes that don't really feel like they belong in the same movie almost, but in a good way. I definitely thought the main character's performance was really good. I think he's nominated. Wagner Mora. And I thought that it was very, I feel like most people might think it's a little bit slow paced, which it is, but for me, I really felt like that built a lot of tension, and I think that the main character's kind of fears are transmitted to the audience in a way that's really effective. And I really liked all of the different kind of meandering storytelling that it had. There was just like focus on a lot of different characters without really any hint as to where the story would go. And it was kind of jumping around in time a little bit as well. The main actor here plays two different characters, which I love that personally in a movie where you're kind of asked to suspend your disbelief in a way because of the casting like that. It happens. It's been happening a little bit more, I've noticed, in a few different movies, but usually it's like the same person playing a family member or something. It happens in another movie that I'm going to draw today as well. But yeah, so without giving away too much, I definitely recommend this movie. That's The Secret Agent. Okay, the movie that I'd seen just before that is kind of a different vibe. I definitely feel like my last four is pretty chaotic, but this one is Final Destination 2. I really love those movies, the Final Destination movies. They're very nostalgic for me, and of course, this was a rewatch. I'd seen this one many times. Have I seen all of them? I think I've seen the most recent one. But I think there's one I haven't seen, like maybe the one right before that one. This one brings back Allie Larder, who I'm drawing here. She was in the first one. I think she was the only one to survive. There was like a death that happened off screen, like between the first two movies, and she was like in a mental institution in this one because she didn't feel safe outside. But if you don't know, these movies are about people who somehow avoid death, like some accident or, freak accident. They avoid it somehow by way of premonition. And if you do that, death gets mad, like the entity of death. So he or she or they orchestrates like the elaborate death of everyone who avoided it. So the first one's about a plane crash, and this one is about a pileup on the highway. And I was reading that the budget was only $26 million, which is like pretty cheap for like blockbuster, I feel, but did really well, moderately, and it was like a departure from the first one, which was more about teenagers. This one was like people of all different walks of life. Anyways, definitely fun watch, so that's why I watched it, because I like that movie. Okay, so the movie that I saw before that one was The Hunger Games, and I've also seen The Hunger Games before, but it was a friend of mine's first time watching it, so we had just put it on as a group at like a friend of mine's studio, and yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I know that it was like a cultural phenomenon at the time, and I think I'd seen it, like maybe not in cinemas, but like around that time. And I know it's like a pretty relevant subject matter now. Well, probably then too, but even more so now. And I think in a way it's like, explaining these issues to kids in an entertaining way. So I think that can be a good thing. And there's obviously like a lot of fun details and elements, like Stanley Tucci's character, who I'm drawing here, is like this flamboyant host who has these really funny fake teeth. And I think that was like what stuck out the most to me, because I was just watching it from like a perspective of like revisiting, having already known the story and everything, which is just, battle royale type, last man or woman standing. Yeah, I really think it's fine. I gave it 3 stars, I think. And yeah, definitely not a bad rewatch. I might try to go watch like the other rooms, as a group with them. We'll have to see. So that's The Hunger Games. Okay, so the last movie that I watched, or the movie that I watched before The Hunger Games, was a David Cronenberg movie called The Shrouds. And I do think it came out either last year or 2 years ago, maybe now. It was his most recent movie. Who, if you don't know, David Cronenberg made a bunch of other really like famous body horror movies, like The Fly and Videodrome and Crash. Anyways, just to name a few. They're pretty hard to watch if you're not good with any kind of gore. Usually there's a lot of really weird disfiguration and not so much blood, but just like disturbing images, and this movie also had that. It's about a grieving man who's just recently lost his wife, or, in the last few years. And his response to this death is to install a camera in the tomb of his wife's grave so that he can watch her body decompose. And I think this movie was heavily inspired by David Cronenberg's own experience with grief. His wife had died of cancer, I think, a few years before this came out. Similarly to the main character's wife. And the styling of Vincent Cassel, who plays the main character, also is very similar to how David Cronenberg looks in real life. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear. And I watched this movie with my cousin, and he thought it was boring, but I don't know, I didn't really find it boring. It's definitely slow paced, so I kind of get that, but it kept me, for sure, like, curious to see what would happen. But I will say that if you're looking for something with a very concrete story and no ambiguity, this one is not going to be for you, because there's a lot of unanswered questions, and it's like there's a lot of conspiracies and stuff. So anyways, I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. But okay, that's the last one. Well, I hope you liked this one. Let me know in the comments what you've watched recently, and I'll see you in the next one.